In this video, I want to share with you how we have exponentially been able to grow our business and how loan officers that we help and consult with have equally exponentially grown their mortgage production and business using this one powerful and yet simple engine. This engine is also what allowed Amazon, Airbnb, Uber to massively grow into multi-billion-dollar companies. And so if you watch this until the end, you will also learn how you could apply this into your mortgage business today. Let's dive right in. So for us to better understand exponential growth, well, we first need to understand what exactly does it even mean? Exponential growth really means growth whose rate becomes ever more rapid in proportion to the growing total number of units. And you can see there's a fancy formula here. Now, I'm not gonna dive too deep into the technical aspects of this. The most important thing to really understand here is the difference between exponential growth and linear growth. So with linear growth, usually if you look at it through a graph, you kind of see something like this, right? Now, the first thing that we need to understand is most businesses, they don't even achieve this. They don't really grow. Most businesses fail. If you check the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, 1 out of 5 businesses fail within their first year. And so most people, they don't really achieve growth. For the people who actually grow their business, usually what most people really kind of go through is what's called linear growth. It's more duplication, so you could kind of see this. And so the difference with exponential growth is it's going to look something like this. It's going to start a little bit slower in the beginning, but there's going to be a point where it will shoot up. This is exactly what we want for our business and for your business. So how does this actually work? So the difference to think about this is with regards to your inputs and outputs, okay? Most people, when we exert effort, we have like an equal output, right? And so the main thing that we want to kind of understand here is we need an engine, we need a mechanism so that we are able to get leverage for all of our inputs. So the difference here is when you are talking about linear growth, for every input that we put in, you have an equal output, right? Meaning you work harder, you get more results. That's good, that's cool, but that's also unsustainable. We want to work smarter, not necessarily harder here. And so the difference with exponential growth is once we have an engine, we want the ability to push an input while having an exponential output where we're really using multiplication of our efforts, right? And so we're not expending that much energy and we're able to get a really large amount of output. And really this is like the Jaime principle, so high impact, minimum effort. So what exactly is this exponential growth machine that I'm talking about? Well, it is having a flywheel in your business. First, let's understand what exactly is a flywheel. It is a heavy revolving wheel in a machine that is used to increase the machine's momentum and thereby provide greater stability and builds a reserve of kinetic energy to power the machine. Now, that might sound too technical, but really the key word here is it's able to increase momentum and reserve energy, right? And so in business terms, and even in Harvard, most MBAs, they talk about this flywheel effect. And so if you think about what a flywheel is, it's essentially just a machine that's really, really hard to start turning. It takes a lot of effort in the beginning, but as this wheel turns, as you are able to build momentum, it will dramatically go so much faster and with little effort from your part, okay? So what does this actually look from a flywheel in action look like? Well, the flywheel effect happens when small wins for your business build on each other over time and eventually gain so much momentum that growth almost seems to happen by itself, right? So really what it is because as we start adding and feeding into this machine, then this machine will be self-sustaining and will have so much momentum that it will, by default, you will just get so much success by itself, right? And this is exactly what we want to install in your mortgage business. Okay, so let's look at some flywheels in action. Now with Amazon, they really focus first on having an amazing customer experience. When Amazon started, they were essentially just a bookstore, right? They were an e-commerce store. This was during the early .com era. Most people, they didn't even trust buying online first, right, for security. But because they provided so much customer experience on their online websites, they're able to drive more traffic into their website. And they did the unthinkable actually during that time. They started opening up their platform to third-party sellers. And at this time, people were calling them crazy, right? Like if you have traffic, if you have leads on your site, you have traffic on your site, why would you share it with other people, right? But that's because other people, they were not really thinking about this flywheel that Amazon was building, because as more sellers come in, well, that also brought in more products and more selections in their website, right? And so with more products and selections, this also further increase their customer experience. Because there's so much products in Amazon, more people also wanted to buy in Amazon. The vendors also wanted to sell more in Amazon because there's also a lot of people buying in Amazon, right? And so this increased the third-party sellers, which ultimately, as more and more people wanted to sell in Amazon, well, more and more products are also being sold in Amazon, which further just validates this whole thing. And so the more people that want to sell, the more people that also wanted to buy, and it just further validates this flywheel effect. And ultimately, you just get, by default, just like unlimited growth. Now, let's look at Uber. It's the same thing. They started with an amazing customer experience. They use an app, and so it's very convenient, right? It's just on your phone. You don't need to wait. You don't need to call for a taxi. People started using Uber, and so they got more riders. And as more and more people used Uber, more and more drivers wanted to drive for Uber. But then the more drivers that came in, that also meant faster pickups. Faster pickups means that there's just better customer experience overall. That pretty much killed the taxi cab industry, because it's so easy, it's so convenient. Just use your phone and order for Uber. And more riders meant more people wanted to drive an Uber, and further validates the faster pickup. And ultimately, you have this cycle and flywheel effect of just massive exponential growth. So it's the same thing with Airbnb. Same thing, customer experience, and then more and more people wanted to use Airbnb because it was cheaper than a hotel at that time, right? It has a personal experience, great customer experience. And then as more people wanted to use Airbnb, well, more and more people also wanted to host their homes, their extra room, their apartment in Airbnb. And more hosts in Airbnb meant more selections, right? More selections meant better customer experience, and better customer experience meant that more and more guests wanted to use Airbnb. But because more and more guests were at Airbnb, well, more and more people wanted to host an Airbnb. So you guys get the picture here. You create this like massive growth, and it's because of having a flywheel effect in your business. Now, real quick, if you are getting value from this video, just pump the like button in this video. I would really appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out in any future trainings such as this one. Let's go back to the video. But what does that mean for you as a mortgage loan originator? Well, you also need a flywheel in your business. And what this flywheel really looks at is you're gonna have 5 pillars in here. And we call this the freedom flywheel because ultimately this is what you need to have in your business so that you can ultimately achieve freedom of income, freedom of time, freedom of relationships, and freedom of purpose. And so there's 5 parts here. So the first part is lead generation. We need to start with having a direct-to-consumer model where you're able to actually generate leads without relying on realtors, without relying on any other external partners. And really, you have 2 objectives in this pillar, okay? So the first one is to generate a consistent flow of direct-to-consumer inbound leads, okay? So very, very important here. Keyword here is inbound leads. We want the leads coming to you instead of you chasing the leads, right? It must be direct-to-consumer, meaning you're not relying on realtors, you're not relying on other referral partners. And number 2 is these are leads who have raised their hands saying that they want to speak with you, right? That way you're not also just wasting your time We want them in a very systematic manner. Now, the mistake that most people have when they start to do some sort of direct-to-consumer lead generation is they start with media, okay? So there's 3 M's that you have to go through for any sort of lead generation. That's having market, message, and then media. Now, unfortunately, most people, they usually start with media, which is really just a platform. This is not where you want to start, okay? Because if you think about it, the first 2 will actually dictate what platform that you go into. So what you want to do is you want to start with first identifying who is your target market, right? This is your audience. This is really crucial because if you are selling to everyone, then you are selling to no one, right? If we truly want to have a direct-to-consumer model where people are going to you, then you need to start calling them out. And for us to call them out, we need to be very specific with who you are trying to target. So for example, if you are specifically going after veterans or first-time homebuyers, right? Those are like specific niches. But within those niches, you could actually further go more specific, right? You could target demographic, psychographic, geographic location, right? Not only are you targeting first-time homebuyers, but you are also targeting first-time homebuyers that are parents, single moms in the Chicago area, right? So the more specific that you can get, the better messaging that you can also have, right? So that's the second thing here is your message, your offer. What is it that you are actually offering people? And if you are just saying, hey, I'm a loan officer, I could just help you get better rates, that's what everybody else says, right? Now, I have a separate video on this that talks about how you could leverage the 7 different types of unique selling proposition and unique marketing messages that you could use. I'll link them below here and you could take advantage of that. But really, that is what we want to do is we want to leverage a powerful message to the right audience, the right market who will relate with that specific message. And then once we have these 2, now we can actually start to figure out, all right, how can I reach those people? Which platform should I use to reach them, right? That is the combination here. And then as you generate leads, we also want to have an automated and systematic way to nurture the leads. Now, on the lead nurture side, the thing to really think about here is for every market, we know that only 3% are ready to buy right now, right? The other 97% is pretty much not yet ready. And so this pillar is so crucial because we have 3 objectives here, okay? So the objective is, for number 1 is how can we get in contact with the 3% who are actually ready right now. And we could use automated processes. We could use systematic processes, right? You really want to have a powerful CRM on this pillar. And for us, we have actually built out our own CRM so that we can automate and systematize every single piece of these 5 pillars. Number 2 is we also want to pre-frame the leads to help your sales process. So we want to nurture them. We want them to know, like, and trust you as a loan originator even before they speak with you. This way you are pre-framed and it's going to be a lot easier on the sales process. For the other 97% of people who are not yet ready right now, well, we want to build a relationship with them so that when they are ready, they already know, like, and trust you. That way, it's going to be so much easier for you to really leverage and get them to a sales process that you can convert, right? And then as we nurture them, we want to build a systematic sales process. Now, the first objective here, very, very important, is we want to implement a systematic sales process, which means you need to have a sales script. Now, it's so easy to think, oh, I don't need a sales script. I've been doing sales for 10, 20, 30 years now. This is really about consistency. You don't necessarily need to be like word for word have a script, but you need to have a framework. Every single conversation that you have should have the same framework. And number 2 is we need to gain permission to serve. Too many times I see people, that just go straight into selling. Even worse, start talking about themselves. We really want to earn their trust first, and then that way we can serve hard and then sell easy. And then number three is once we gain their permission, then we can overcome the three types of sales, really making the external sale, doing the internal sale, and overcoming the why you sale. The external sale is breaking down what is their limiting beliefs on the external criteria on why they should buy right now. Well, maybe now is not the right time, right? Oh, rates are too high. Oh, there's no inventory. I can't buy because of all these external factors, right? So we have to overcome that. So the second thing is the internal sale. The internal now is, well, can I afford? Oh, I'm in the lease right now. I can't break the lease. And so I'll have to wait, right? So these are the internal sales that people have in their heads that is blocking, their limiting beliefs into being able to buy right now. Does this even make sense for me? Do I have the down payment? And the number three is the why you sale, meaning if they know that, hey, now is a good time to buy externally and I can afford to buy, well, why should I work with you specifically? Right? Now, I have a separate video on this that really walks through the whole sales process, and you could watch, and I'll link it around here. That is really the sales process, and you really want this to be a systematic process. And as we build a systematic process, we deliver an amazing customer experience. Now, this is so crucial because we are going to have 4 primary objectives in this pillar. So the first thing is we want to wow your customer. Very important, and the easiest way to think about this is wowing a customer is really about doing something that is unexpected. Because if you think about it, even if you're delivering an amazing service, fast, convenient, amazing service, well, most people, if they already expect you to do it, well, that's just the standard, right? So the second thing is we want to get 5-star reviews from your customer. We want to be able to do this in a very systematic manner. You can automate this process. We actually automate this in our Loan More CRM for Good Vibe Squad. Because we're over-delivering and we're wowing your customer, this is something that people would actually want to do for you is just give you an honest review. The more that we do this, especially if you put this into your Google My Business profile, this will ultimately help your profile also rank from an SEO search engine optimization standpoint, local SEO in the Google Maps. This will help you get and generate more organic leads from people that are searching for loan officers near me, mortgage brokers near me in your local area. So this is really powerful. Now, the third objective is to get more customer referrals. And we can automate this process through your CRM as well, the communication. The main thing here is we want to build relationships with your customers. And as long as you deliver an amazing customer experience, they would also be happy to just refer more people to you, right? Their friends, their family. And number 4 is to get future business. And that is refinances down the line, more purchase transactions down the line. Maybe they want to buy a second house. Maybe they want to do Airbnbs in the future, right? Maybe investment properties. And so this is also where having the identity of, instead of just being a loan officer, becoming a mortgage wealth advisor and really advising your customers. This is how we actually coach our clients, is because if you have the perspective of just being a mortgage loan originator, well, helping people with home ownership, that journey to home ownership is a one-time transaction. However, as a mortgage wealth advisor, the journey to building wealth, well, this is a lifelong journey, right? This is how you could really set this up so that you are not only just getting one transaction, but you are getting refinances, you are getting purchase deals down the line in the future, and this is how you increase your lifetime value for your customer. The 5th pillar here is the strategic partnerships, right? This is how, when we get a direct-to-consumer lead, once we get them pre-approved, then we can now leverage that and attract realtor partners who are your ideal partners. This pillar doesn't only talk about realtors necessarily, because there are other strategic partners, right? Other referral partners that you can attract, that you can build relationships with. For example, there's financial planners, divorce attorneys, accountants, CPAs, title reps, title companies, right? There's a lot of other referral partners But of course, realtors and real estate agents, they are the most ubiquitous that you could really go after, and also the most effective. And so in my example here, the easiest way to kind of think about this is as realtor referral partners, and as just realtors in general, they're going to fall into 3 buckets for you. So really the first bucket are the ones over here. These are realtors who you do not have any relationship with, they don't know who you are, and that's okay. The main thing here is we want to go after the realtors who are ideal referral partners for you. What does that mean? These are the sweet spots where they actually have business. You do not want to go after and connect with realtors who don't produce, right? Because, you want to respect your time. You don't want to waste your time. But you also don't want to go after realtors who have, like really, really high production, because those are the realtors who are most likely going to already have preferred lenders. Not to say that you don't go after them. If you still want to start that relationship, just know that it's going to take a little bit more time for those people. It's okay. So you want to kind of find the sweet spot. Not that they don't have production, but not too high of a production. The second bucket are the ones who you do have relationships with, right? But they're not actively sending you business. They know who you are. Maybe you worked with them before, certain acquaintances. Maybe you've met them in an open house. Maybe you've kind of worked with them before. And so these people are the ones that we want to really cultivate relationships with. And if they are an ideal referral partner for you, then you want to go after, and ultimately, the third bucket are your active partners. These are realtors who are sending you business consistently. You have a reciprocal relationship with them, and we want to get more of these, right? So the idea is, how can we connect the people who don't know who you are, get them to at least know who you are, have a starting relationship, and then from that, leverage the direct-to-consumer leads that we have so that you can get an active partnership going with them, and then really cultivating that relationship and strengthening that reciprocal referral partnership. And so really pillar objective here is use direct-to-consumer leads to attract your ideal referral partner. So you could see, as long as you have this, and this is really powerful because most loan officers out there, all they're doing is they're just begging business, right? They're just asking for that coffee date. Basically just trying to say like, hey, I could close on time. I have amazing customer experience, right? Like everyone says that. With the Freedom Flywheel that we have, well, you have a direct-to-consumer lead gen that now you can actually have an actual leverage in these conversations where, hey, I want a long-term relationship. I want a partnership with you, but just know that if we are going to be working together, I'm handing you this blank check as a pre-approved buyer, but in exchange, I want this to be a reciprocal relationship. And so now you are setting the bar with the right expectation right off the bat, right? So this is really powerful. And ultimately, having this partnership completes the mortgage freedom flywheel that we have. So now we are truly building your exponential growth machine, because as we generate leads and as we nurture the leads through automated means, through systematic means, we get in contact with the 3% of the people who are ready right now, pre-frame them for our sales calls. But for the other 97%, we build relationships with them using automated campaigns. We build relationships, we communicate with them. And then we have a systematic sales process where we gain permission. We walk them through the 3 sales, right? The external, the internal sale, and then the YU sale, and then ultimately take the application, get them to a pre-approved buyer. And then from there, we wow the customer, right? We get more 5-star reviews. We get them to increase our local SEO ranking and get more referral partners, right? And then using that, get more strategic partners, get more realtor partners using the pre-approved buyers and your direct-to-consumer model. And as we do this, well, now your realtor partners is going to get you more leads, right? And the SEO, the more reviews that we get, we're also going to get more leads. The more leads that we get in, because we have a systematic lead nurture process, we have an automated CRM that will automatically get in contact with them. We're getting people actually reaching out to you and really building that relationship. And then we drive them back into a systematic sales process, which ultimately gets them more 5-star reviews. We increase your local SEO. And then ultimately now you just have this growth flywheel. We get more realtor partners. And then ultimately this will really grow your mortgage business exponentially, right? Do you see how powerful this is? So there you have it. I hope you found a ton of value out of this and you could start really leveraging this in your mortgage business today. If you want to learn also how we do this for our clients, you can go ahead and click the button right below this video. It's going to be in the link down below. You could set up a demo with us. Now, if you want to see more content such as this one, go ahead and check out my other video where I actually break down each of these 5 pillars into more detail and how you could apply this in your mortgage business today. I will see you in the next video.